Good morning, everyone. So, on a long road trip this morning back to St. Louis, I had to take my wife to Chicago to get an international flight to India to go help her mom. Her mom broke her arm, so did that real quick. But I'm heading back south, and I figured I would shoot the breeze about the furniture industry, about the furniture business, kind of what's happened in 2025, and where we're going in 2026, and just kind of hit on a whole bunch of different kinds of topics. Because again, I got about 4 hours to kill, so why not? What else am I going to do? So I hope everyone had a good Christmas, and you got lots of good goodies, and got to have a little bit of time off, get some beer, and eat some good food and all that kind of fun stuff. Hopefully the kids had a good time. But anyway, so the furniture industry right now is really doing pretty good. Like the furniture industry has been in the doldrums for quite a while, and I'm doing a video. I'll have the video out today. It's going to be a long form video that's going to be talking about starting business in 2026, and I talk about the furniture industry from 2025 and 2026, and kind of the things that I see going on right now that are going to be awesome in 2026. Like if you want to get in the manufacturing business, there are a ton of reasons to do in 2026. There's just a ton of tax advantages. Hiring people is getting easier. There are a lot of things in that big, beautiful bill thing that they signed that really help businesses be able to write things off. There's a lot of states that are having tax credits for manufacturing. They want to get manufacturing in the states. Kind of in vogue, right? And if you guys know anything about like the way the EV credits work, for about the last 7 years, states were just doing everything they could to get EV businesses into their states, making batteries, making cars, anything kind of supported that EV technology, charging stations, all these kind of things. And if you were supporting that industry, man, it was just awesome for you. So, point is that if you're in manufacturing is going to be the new industry to be in, So, this is the year to do it, guys. So, anyway, my name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Splendid Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a fine furniture company. We make, we do about 500 pieces a year. We are known for our high gloss lacquer coating. We also, again, make fine stain grade furniture. We do a small 7-figure business here. We have about 8 or 9 employees, and we've been in business for almost 10 years at this point. Like it just every year just keeps going and going and going and going. And this was the best year that I'd seen so far, aside from like the COVID years. There was a lot of new business, a lot of new kinds of products that people were looking at purchasing, a lot of new products within the industry that got a lot of hype. There's a lot of new things that are coming in 2026 as far as trends go. I can talk about that a little bit and kind of what we're going to do to service those trends. But the industry that in 2025 was freaking awesome. Like it really did well for us. We increased revenue from, I think we did I want to say we did 1.2 last year, and I think this year we did 1.5, which is good. That's fantastic revenue for us. We generally operate on about a 30% profit margin, and during COVID we were doing 2 to 3 million a year, and that was just very different. We learned a lot. We didn't make a ton of money during COVID, and I tell people that all the time. Like just because you have a lot of sales and you have a lot of revenue doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make a lot of money, especially in an industry like furniture or any kind of manufacturing where it's very capital intensive, right? Very labor intensive, So just because you make a lot of revenue does not mean you're going to make a ton of money. So anyway, I got people coming in the chat, Hacks, or what is this, Joe Hacks? So anyway, good to see you. Thanks for being in here. Again, guys, add to the comments, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is a channel where I talk about my furniture business, which is a real business in St. Louis, Missouri. Again, we do probably 500 pieces a year. During COVID, I was doing 1,500 pieces a year. Very interesting business. I show people how we make things. I talk about the business in kind of real terms. It's not, this isn't kind of a gatekeeping thing. I'm not some guy sitting in front of a desk telling you how to run a furniture company. I actually show you guys what the business is like, the ins and outs, the good things, the bad things, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do on this channel. I hope people like this kind of content. What's this? How are you today? Remember your report. Yes. Yeah. Always remember your report. Always remember things are good. So anyway, 2025, great year. Revenue was up. The kind of business that we were doing is very different than 2024, right? So there was a ton of custom work. Like I've never seen so much custom work. And I think the reason for that is because the divide between the haves and the have-nots is getting pretty large, guys. Like there's a lot of people that are falling behind because of the cost of living and inflation and job cuts and jobs just not paying as much as they used to. But on the other side of that, there are a ton more people making excess money, right? They've got just tons of money to buy homes and buy furniture and buy cars and buy private jets and invest stocks, crypto, all these kind of things. And we're seeing just a big influx of inquiries into buying things. And they don't always convert. Right? Conversions are about normal, but big ticket sales, right? Big ticket custom projects are the most I've ever seen. So that's kind of interesting. So one of the big projects that I got, we started working with this, and I'll tell you guys a quick story about how a relationship can start as something very small, and it can evolve into um, a large situation, right? Large sales, large purchases, things like that. And this is why you have to stay in business. This is why you take care of your customer, why you service them, why you take care of their every freaking need. Because there's only people in this world that are going to spend big freaking dollars on furniture, right? If you want to sell a $20,000 desk, there's only a handful of people that are going to buy that, right? If you're selling whatever $5,000 painted vintage pieces of furniture, how many people are really out there that are going to purchase that product, right? Most people aren't going to do that. When I worked in the private jet industry, we used to talk about how many people are actually out there that could buy a $50 million jet, right? There's not very many of them. So when you find one, you take care of them, right? You just make sure that you answer all their questions, you're prompt, you put out good quality, and you just project a really good image of yourself and your product and your business. And it goes a long way. So the story goes like this. So I had this guy walk into my shop on like a Saturday, right? And no shit, guys, this guy was dressed like the Don Corleone from The Godfather. Had the suit on, the fedora, the red whatever the hell it is they put in their the handkerchief thing. Literally looked like freaking Don Corleone. Like just blew my mind. Like what the fuck is this? And this guy, he sounded like Don Corleone. He's Italian clearly, and hey, I'm looking for some nightstands, and I need to get some nightstands for my wife. She wants me to come find something like this paint, and blah blah blah. And it's kind of like almost like a caricature of a guy. I mean, I'm not making this up. This is exactly what this guy sounded like. And so I'm helping this guy, and of course he wants a discount, and I'm just like, Jesus, here we go again. These freaking people, and people that generally want discounts, ask for discounts, are generally not going to be good customers. But again, you never know who you're talking to. Okay, so you gotta treat everybody the same. So I sell these guys these nightstands, and he's like, I'll send my assistant over. He's going to pick them up, and blah 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 blah. Well, he sends his assistant over, and this like goofball kid comes over. He's driving some piece of shit car, and we load him up in the back of his car. And I'm thinking, that's the end. I'm never going to see this guy again, and this is not a thing. Well, anyway, fast forward like maybe 2 months, right? And this guy shows up in my shop, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm a designer. I work for the Sanborns, and I need to get a table lacquered." And I do a little research, find out the Sanborns are one of the oldest and largest developers in the city of St. Louis. So this is the guy who's one of the Sanborns came into my shop he was looking in their shop. And the crazy thing about it is he drove a Maybach. Like, this is the funny thing. Like, I saw his black Maybach, and he's trying to, basically, you know, get a discount on the furniture he's buying. This guy's probably a mega millionaire, if not a billionaire. And anyway, he's sends this guy, and he's like, yeah, I gotta get this table lacquered. The Sanborns want me to get this thing done, and so we bring this table in. Right, it's a black dining table. And if you guys go on my channel, I did a video on how I refinished it, how I did the paint and everything. It's a pretty cool project. But anyway, I do this and I charge them like $2,500 for this, so it's not like a ton of money. Well, go with me, guys. So I'm doing that. Fast forward another, say, 2 months, right? So another 2 months, I get that same designer comes in. He's like, "Hey, I got this project, and I need to get some pieces for this project." Right? And I'm thinking, "Okay, great. These guys are going to want some. They're going to try and whatever, negotiate down on pricing, or maybe they got some stuff they want me to paint for them, things like that." When he comes in, he says, "I need to get a whole bunch of custom pieces made." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that sounds kind of interesting." And he's like, "But I really want something like that's kind of unique." I was like, "Well, cool. What can I get you? What do you need? We'll make for it." I'm thinking they want, some kind of standard, type furniture. He's like, "I really need a 15-foot dining table made out of crotch mahogany." And I'm like, oh shit. so so I'm like, okay, well, we can do that. And granted, I've never made a cross mahogany dining table. I've done some walnut tables, but they're generally out of hardwood, right? You generally, bond it all up, create the shape, blah 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 blah. But this, when you make 15 and 20-foot tables, things like that, you don't generally make them out of hardwood. You make them out of laminated plywood, veneers, and hardwoods and things like that. So he's wanting that. He's like, yeah. And then I also like the sideboard you have over here. And this was a sideboard that I had just made, and I'll show you guys some pictures of this thing in the future. But he's like, I think I want this sideboard, but I want it in crotch mahogany also, so that it matches the dining table. And I'm just like, okay. I like, maybe you just want to buy the one I have here in walnut. And he's like, no, we got to have it in crotch mahogany. So I'm like, all right, this is cool. And he's like, okay, you also have the sideboard on your website. He says, I really like the sideboard you have that you made, but I need it 8 feet long, and I also need it in crotch mahogany. So in my mind, I'm just going cha-ching, 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 and I'm just counting the money, right? I'm just counting this money, and this is freaking awesome. Well, what this ended up leading to is this ended up leading to where I did basically 7 pieces of furniture for this guy, every single one of them custom. I think we did one vintage piece, but the entire thing was all custom furniture, and it ended up being something like it was like a $70,000 or $80,000 project. To do these pieces of furniture, the table alone was 45 grand, right? So it turned into a big mega project, and now I finished up that project, and now I've got another project from the same guy coming right down the pike, right? So this crazy story of this fedora wearing Italian mobster looking dude turned into where I've got basically $100,000 of business from these people, and probably another 100,000 right behind you. So when you take care of your customers, it can lead into all kinds of crazy things. And you can never really judge the people that walk into your establishment. You got to kind of treat everyone the same. And I've been doing this long enough. Like, I kind of generally know if people got money or they're just tire kickers. But in this case, I wasn't sure what to make of it, because the dude was just so, like, it could have been fucking Halloween for all I know. Like, I was really convinced, like, this guy's just kind of a weirdo who is a little bit goofy, but no, the real deal. And you guys can look this stuff up. This Sanborn family, like, they're a big deal here in St. Louis. It was kind of a cool story. I figured, I'd tell you guys that quick story. Other projects that are coming on the pipeline, because again, I was telling you guys that custom just got really freaking big this year. So one more comment. Keep yapping. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, man. I'm just going to yap and yap and yap for probably 20, 30 minutes, help kill some time on this thing, get a few more views on my channel, work on those hours. I'm about 500 hours away from having my monetization going on. So I took a little bit of a break from making all the videos, and just I've got too much stuff going on. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So that was one crazy custom project that turned into a wild thing. Okay. Now, another project that I got coming on the pipeline is I'm working with one of the largest designers in, I won't say in America. I'll just go ahead and just say here in the St. Louis Midwest region. This person's followed us for a long time. And again, listen to what I'm telling you guys. This is all like really good information. Yeah, I'm on the road, dude. Like I said, trust me, guys. I'm safe. This is fine. This is like heartland, no traffic, no nothing. It's just like me and the road. That's basically all I got going on here. So anyway, so I told you guys about this project and this crazy dude that turned into, $100,000 of business, and it's going to turn into another 100,000 from that client, and it's really a pretty awesome deal, to be honest with you. So I do content, right? I'm always telling you guys that content is super important when you're trying to develop a business, and specifically a business that's as visually interesting as lacquered furniture. Regular, like, standard furniture is nice, right? People like to see it. It looks cool. It's beautiful. But for some reason, that lacquered furniture really draws people in. But I was doing content about making this table, and this one designer saw this table, right? I've never worked with this designer before. They saw this table, and they're like, hey, that's a really cool table. Could you make another one of those? I was like, yeah, and they want to know kind of like what that thing costs. I told them, it's going to be like, 40, 50 grand, something like that. And they said, okay, cool. Well, let's meet at your shop, and let's go over what we need you to make, and we'll see if we can put something together. Well, they come into my shop, and they keep canceling on me, right? So I'm thinking, well, these people are kind of full of shit. They're not really serious. And this is what happens sometimes with designers that aren't, like I said, super serious. They're not, they don't have all their ducks in a row, so to speak. So I'm getting a little frustrated. And finally, they show up, and just one of them shows up. So I'm talking to this one guy, and he's kind of the head of it. He owns it, and he's saying, "Look, I need a 22-foot version of this table, and it needs to be 5 feet across, right? And it's going to go in this grand dining room in this mega mansion, like 30,000 square feet." And I'm just like, holy shit! Like I'm thinking like $100,000 table right here. And he's like, "Well, I need you to make this table, but I also need these other things." Okay, so these other things that he needs are not in my wheelhouse at all, right? And I'll get to kind of what this is and why this is interesting. But he's wanting me to figure this stuff out for him. I'm just thinking table. Like I'm thinking like my eyes have dollar signs. I'm just thinking cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. I just made a 15-foot version, even make a 22-foot version of this thing. No problem. I'm gonna stack cash. Well, he says, "Hey, I'm having trouble finding these what you might call like they're like facades, right? They go on the front door and the back door of this house, right?" And he shows me kind of a rendering of what they're looking for. And I'm looking at this rendering and I'm just thinking like, well, this is kind of goofy looking. I'm not really sure like what he wants these things made out of walnut. Like walnut's not like a really good exterior grade wood. He wants it, maybe wants mahogany. Like mahogany's, fine. At least to make ships out of it, but it's not really an exterior grade wood. And I make furniture and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking all these things, basically reasons like why I can't do something or why something isn't right. And he says, "No, I need these things made out of Douglas fir." And immediately I'm like, no way. Like, there's no way this guy wants the stuff made out of Douglas fir. Not because Douglas fir isn't a good wood; it's a fantastic wood for exterior projects. A lot of people use it. They make a lot of glulam beams out of this stuff. And unbeknownst to him, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, which is where all of the Douglas fir is in America. It's all grown there. It's a massive industry. They just rebuilt the Portland International Airport (PDX), and they did the entire inside of it with glulam Doug fir everywhere. It's really cool project. So I tell this guy, I'm like, "Look, dude, like I know the people that do this kind of stuff. Like that's where I'm from. I grew up with these." He just not figure this thing out, too busy or whatever. But I'm like, "I'll take care of this. Like, I got this." And so I spent the next couple of weeks trying to figure this stuff out. Well, unbeknownst to me, like, I've got a pretty big ego. I think I can figure out anything. These fucking people will not get back to you. Like, they're slow. I don't know if they're just like out in the woods all the time. The idea of just cutting down trees and slabs is cool. And a lot of them have really good websites, but they're so slow at getting back to you. And me being a small business, like I'm super nimble. I'm able to just bob and weave and kind of do whatever I need to do, like a damn pinball. But these guys are just super slow. So I'm I'm trying to get this project nailed down so that I can get to the table, right? The table is the moneymaker. I'm thinking like this is the thing that I want to make the table. I don't want to do these stupid facades. Well, I finally start getting some callbacks and I start getting some bids coming in. And so I'm texting some of this stuff to this guy and I'm trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do this thing. Cause this is, again, it's not in my wheelhouse. I don't do big slabs, right? And just for reference, guys, so you know, each one of these slabs is 25 feet long and basically 3 feet wide and 3.5 to 5 inches thick, right? I need 4 of these things. And I need 2 of them that are 9 feet by 3 feet by 3.5 to 5 inches thick. So these are not the easiest things in the world to get. And so these bids come in and I get bids from just all kinds of people. Like one guy wants to do basically 2 pieces, right? 16 and 16 or whatever, 18 and 18, lam them together and ship them out, right? Which sounds great to me, but I tell the customer's like, "No, that's not what I want. I want one solid piece of wood." And the guys are telling me like, "No, you don't want to do that. It's going to bend. They're just telling me all the reasons not to do it, right?" And then I get other people that want to do it like quarters. So it just ends up being like where every time I talk to these mills and these people, that they're just shooting me down left and right. And the guy that's running this project that has the key to my big freaking payday, is like, "No, I don't want. I gotta have this one thing." And I'm telling him like, "Hey, it's not gonna work. People don't want to do this. Finding a log that big that looks good is damn near impossible." Blah blah blah. Well, I get one quote back. It's the cheapest of everything I've seen so far. I'm almost like what the hell is going on here? This guy's like, "Oh yeah, I can totally get these for you." Like we we find these things, they're around, it takes a little bit, but I'll get it for you, no problem. And so I put this bid together, and I'm getting ready to present it to my client again. This is like the third one of these I think that I've worked on, and so I'm working on getting this bid over. So I think I've got this thing taken care of. Now, the thing that again I see comments coming in. I want to say what I'm going to say, and then you guys can tell me if I'm wrong or how ridiculous I am. But so the bid that I'm going to present here is going to have these massive logs. They're going to check, they're going to bow, they're going to do all these kind of things. And what I think that I'm going to do is I think that I'm going to basically bore through the width of these big boards. And the guy told me that this works really well. You bore all the way through. So I've got to bore through 36 inches of material, and you run all thread through it, right? You run all thread through every whatever 2 foot, and you put nuts on the back side, and then it keeps that wood from checking as much. It'll always check. It's always going to move. It's good because it's constantly drying. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to present this, and I think I'm going to get this sale, right? So now, what do you charge for something like this, right? Like I'm a furniture maker, except here I'm not making any furniture. I'm not cutting down logs. I'm not, milling anything. I'm not doing jack shit, right? So I'm like, what do I charge for this thing? And so I call a buddy of mine who's in the same business I am, and he's just like, oh, fuck this project. Don't even touch it. It's just nothing but trouble. But he's like, if you're going to do it, he says you basically need to charge, probably $10,000 to $15,000 for doing all this stuff. So I'm getting ready to charge, basically, I'll probably charge 10 grand, 10 grand for this project to facilitate, getting this thing cut, getting it surfaced, and then what they call clear guarded, and then sent down to this project that I need to do in the Midwest, so pretty good money. And I think that if I can do this by showing this client that, hey, I can figure this out, I put in all this work, I put in all these bids, it's going to endear me to this client, I'm hoping, and they're going to turn on this 22-foot table, and there's also a 22-foot bar top. I don't even have to make the hardwood for it. I just have to make the top, which is freaking awesome. And they want that done out of walnut burl wood. So I've already given the bids for all those things. So I think that this custom project is going to turn into, a huge freaking payday for my company, which is going to be freaking awesome. And I'm super excited about it. But again, if you've listened to me tell this story now for whatever, probably 10 minutes, that one Italian guy walking in a little business has turned into, could easily be $250,000 worth of business in a span of less than a year, which is freaking wild. Like I didn't expect to do that kind of business. And it gets me thinking more and more about finding these really high-end designers, right? Like we have a lot of really high-end clients, and we have a lot of really good clients, but these designers are kind of where it's at, because most of the high-end clients, I guess, go to them, and we've been dealing with designers forever, but really targeting these exclusive designers that literally work all over America is something that I probably need to work on this year, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I thought you guys might kind of like that story, because like I said, I'm just driving here on the road. So all right, let's see what kind of goofy comments we got today. Let's see here, blah, 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 blah. Get your eyes on the road. Yep, I'm driving. Don't worry, guys. Like I said, Midwest. This isn't like driving on the Pacific Northwest where you're in San Francisco traffic or something. This is, one car every, 30 to 60 seconds maybe at most. Like you just don't see many of them. So anyway, let's see who's in here. This is, let's see, press the best. Okay, cool. I'm glad you're here. Bro is built like, no idea what that means, but hey, that's cool. I appreciate everyone being here again, guys. Hit the like button, add the discussion, and goofy comments are fine. I don't know if anyone watches this content that actually wants to start a business, has a business, is doing furniture making, cabinet making, is in the furniture space, which is what I generally like to talk about. How's it going? What do you guys see? Is there anything that is working for you, that's not working for you? Kind of what's going on there? Because again, like I've never seen so much custom work. I have so many custom. I've been sending stuff to Martha's Vineyard. Again, all custom projects, and again, just it's kind of new to me, to be quite honest with you. But I like it. It's cool. I'm going to take it on. Other things that I saw in 2025 is I've talked to you guys in this channel many times about my Zane Credenza. It's my number one selling piece of furniture, and I call it my bread and butter furniture. And you guys go over to splendidcrow.com and you'll see it. But I sell, again, every year I seem to sell at least 50 of those things. So that one cabinet, again, super easy to make. I've got a guy that just builds them all the time. You can CNC cut them if you want. It's just, you can buy all the trim in 1,000-foot runs to build all the doors. It's a extremely easy cabinet to build, and people just love it. Like, I don't understand why they love that particular piece so much, but they do. And again, that brings in at least $300,000 a year in revenue, and the margin on that piece is very high because we built it for so long, and it gives me the money to, again, chase all these custom projects, to work on designing new furniture. I've got some cool furniture to bring you guys this year. It's going to give us some money to maybe go to High Point and try some of these new marketing avenues, where we're actually putting our products in front of people so they can physically touch them. Other things that we're doing this year, we had a meeting with a decent sized designer here in St. Louis. She's wanting to open up a retail space, right? So she wanted to partner with us to open up this retail space, and so kind of go half and half on it. And we might do it. It basically entails probably another close to $5,000 a month in fixed costs, right? Because you're going to have your rent and but then you have to have someone basically there to man it. And if the designer's there all the time, there's a big fixed cost there, but you do get that visibility. You do get people to be able to touch your stuff, and I think it might be worthwhile. I don't know. I don't know if we'll end up doing that. The idea of taking on another $5,000 a month in fixed expenses, signing leases and things like that, I'm not a big fan of that. But hell, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, but anyway, so 2025 again saw great sales of our bread and butter furniture. And honestly, I thought that some of this stuff would die off at some point, but we're on year, I think, 5 or 6 of that one piece of furniture bringing in whatever 20% of our revenue for the year, 25% of our revenue for the year in some cases. And I got to find another one of those. And how I do that is basically going to be designing new pieces, right? It's going to be bringing more pieces onto the splendidcrow.com and just showing them off, bringing them on the Modern Woodrunner Instagram page, and just, again, showing what it is that we're making. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year, based on what I've seen in 2025. But again, going into 2026, guys, I told you guys earlier, I'm putting out a video. I'll probably drop it today. Starting a woodworking business in 2026. I think that this is going to be probably the best year in the last, since COVID, basically, to have a woodworking business. It's just going to be, there's so many people looking for furniture, right? And if the housing market finally kind of breaks through, and it looks like it's going to be, I don't know if you guys follow interest rates and banking and all that kind of stuff, but the interest rates are coming down. And it's not because the Fed is lowering rates, which that has an effect, but the real reason is because the bond market basically sees that the federal government is bringing in a lot of extra revenue with these tariffs, and the amount of cuts to the federal government in terms of sheer employment has come down by almost 10%, which is almost never happened, right? So when you see the cutting of expenses, the increase in revenue, it signals to the bond market that the long-term risk from your 30-year and your 10-year mortgage rates is not as much. So those rates are coming down. I think they're in the low 6s right now, which is cool. If we could break into the mid 5s, just think. I don't know if you guys remember what happened in COVID, but COVID was freaking wild. Like the amount of people buying homes and looking to furnish those homes. Everybody needed furniture. Everyone needed desks, chairs. Desks were a big seller during COVID because everyone was doing, their office work. But if those interest rates come down and we see the increasing supply in housing that we're seeing in places like Austin, specifically anywhere in Texas, you're going to see a huge influx of people buying homes. And again, when I talk about the divide between the haves and the have-nots, when you sell furniture, to the wealthiest 1% of people, they're always buying homes. They always have money. Even in downturns, they're spending. They're buying houses because houses are cheap in a downturn, and they're furnishing those homes. They're upgrading their homes. They're constantly selling homes. It's an interesting place to be, and 2026 is going to be huge if that housing market kind of de-thaws a little bit more, like it seems like it's going to do. So I'm thinking that 2026 is just going to be wild year, guys. An absolutely wild year. And if you're stuck in a 9 to 5, you can't seem to break free, which is the hardest thing in the world to do, right? To give up that insurance, to give up that steady paycheck, to see that money just show up in your bank account every week, every month, however often you get paid. It's tough to get rid of that, especially if you got kids and all that kind of stuff. It's a big risk, But this year, like I said, this year might be the best year because, again, you've got a ton of great expensing tax credits that are in this big, beautiful bill. You have a lot of states right now that are trying to get more people to start businesses. And even the state that I'm in, like freaking Illinois, like one of the highest tax states in the country, they're basically not abolishing, what's the word I'm looking for? They're eliminating your taxes if you want to start a business in Illinois. And they're eliminating for like 10 years. If you can start a business with I think it's 10 to 15 employees, they will basically eliminate your income taxes for all of your equipment purchases, all of your material purchases, these kind of things. They'll also give you property tax breaks on your property. I mean, it's really wild what they're doing, but you got to look for those kind of things. You got to do some Googling. But again, a lot of that stuff just hasn't been here. They wanted EVs and people, doing the clean energy and all that kind of stuff. That was a big deal for the last probably decade. And now it's moving over to manufacturing. Everybody wants manufacturing. So again, if you make something, what a freaking year to try and go into business, So I know this. I don't know if this kind of resonates with people, but it makes me really excited. I actually want to expand. I might even consider expanding my business into Illinois, which is almost death. I would think is death for a business, but with all of the tax credits and abatements that I've seen, it might make sense, So we'll kind of see what happens. But anyway, that's kind of all I'm talking about today. I just figured I'd kill some time, shooting the breeze with people, see if there's anyone that wants to talk about this kind of stuff. And it doesn't seem like it's kind of the topic for the day. I don't know what everyone's doing, if they're taking the long holiday or if people are going back to work. I don't know what they're doing, but me, I got a couple more hours of my drive, and then I'm going to work, man. Like I said, I got my wife's gone for like a week, so I'm just going to, work late, come home, sleep on the couch, repeat that, and build. So I'll have a lot of content for you guys. I'll do a lot of video because, again, I'm just all by myself for the next week, which is wild. So that's kind of what's going on. So I hope everyone had a great holiday. Hope everyone has a good New Year's and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be on here. I'll continue to do these talks and show you guys lots of cool content this week. More furniture coming, more videos coming, and continue to work on this dang channel and get this thing monetized. And that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. So anyway, you guys have a freaking awesome day.